they did not spend time on building up a capability. They were busy spending time on trying to fend off the advent of democracy. That is, the 5 months period when there was an attempt to steal the elections. So we had to deal with that immediately. And today I must say that we've emerged from this pandemic stronger. We have a COVID hospital now that's fully functional, has a major ICU capability. We can do 5,000 tests per day instead of 40. We have gone around the world, and the difficulties we've had in vaccinating our people. Today we have 80% of our adult population vaccinated. But we not only had a difficult time finding vaccines because the developed countries of the world kept everything for themselves. They would not sell to Africa or Asia or the Caribbean. They kept everything for themselves. We had to hunt around the world. And you recall when we found some vaccines, instead of being helpful, the opposition leader was questioning the efficacy of the vaccine at that time. We overcome all of that. Today, 80% of our people are vaccinated, adult population, and that has helped us in a major way to develop herd immunity. Our death rates are less than half of that of the United States of America on a per capita basis, although they had the best medicines in the world and the best hospitals. And we did this whilst keeping our country open, because most countries of the Caribbean, they shut down their countries to deal with COVID. We could not do that, because had we done that, tens of thousands of people who had lost their jobs, who couldn't go to work, would have been on the breadline. So we made a decision right in August of 2020. Immediately as we got into office, we said, no, we're going to reopen the airport. Ours was one of the few airports in the world that was open throughout the pandemic. We restarted, we allowed people to reopen businesses. And today, as I said before, we have emerged stronger. But that took up a lot of our time. And it's essential that I tell people this across the country, because sometimes they don't understand how much attention the new government had to place on that. And I've also gone through, although we were doing that, we did not forget the promises we made at election time. And so we have gone through, we restored the water subsidy to the pensioners. We have now put back the children grant and increase it now to $25,000 when it will get to $50,000 by 2025 per child. We have now, we've increased old age pension by 40%. We said in this term in office, we'll double it. That is to $40,000. It was $20,000. We're on the way to do that. We restored the joint services bonus. We promised 50,000 house lots. In the first year, we did 10,000. We have in this budget room to develop another 30,000. The last time I came to Region 3, which was about 3 weeks ago, I asked about the backlog in this region. I was told that it was 13,000 people have applied in this region for house lots that they now have to process. By the time I got back to Georgetown, discussed it with the president, it was 14,000 they told me, they checked it. So we then sat down together, the Ministry of Housing, the president, and we started to look at how and where we can do 14,000 plots of land in this region. Unfortunately, at this end, a lot of the lands are privately owned. The government doesn't have much land on this end. The Gaisuco lands, we've taken quite a bit from Gaisuco already. And at the Wales end, we have some land here. So we are now thinking about maybe about 10,000 on that end and maybe another 4,000 towards this part, so that we can accommodate the 14,000 people who've applied, but very little was done in the 5 years to accommodate them. Right now, we have more applications than we have plots of land. So we are trying to address all of these issues, but we promise that in the manifesto we're getting it done. There are lots of other things. Removal of taxes on food items, on fertilizer, on pesticides, on machinery and equipment, all of that was done. Reversing a lot of the charges. APNU increased the charges on about 200 items, like licenses, by as much as 500%. Let me give you an example. In 2014, if you were vending from a vehicle, the license to vend was $12,000 a year. It went to $60,000. We have now taken it back down to, I think it's about 15,000 or something like that. So we had to reverse all of these back. And that is what we've been busy doing. And then, of course, planning a bigger future. And the future has been, I'm rushing through it all. This region alone has already seen us award a bridge that will cost $261 million US. Now, in 1 year, in the 2 years that we are producing oil and gas, we got about $350 million per annum. So that's all we get from the oil and gas sector we got so far. Yeah, maybe I'm making the child cry. They're hearing my voice. Yeah. Baby crying. So I was just giving you a perspective. So $350 million. You hear a lot about oil money, how we are wealthy and stuff. $350 million a year so far, the first 2 years. The bridge alone cost $261 million. But that will be a massive high-rise bridge, a high-span bridge, 4-lane wide, doesn't have to open, that in the next 50 years will cause the major integration between regions 4 and 5. Any time of the day and night you can drive across. It will take minutes to get across. We're already awarded that. A couple of days ago, we awarded a contract from Ogle to about Eccles. So if you come across the river, you can drive on a 4-lane road going all the way to Ogle. You already have a contract. We've built a highway, a 4-lane highway from Georgetown to Eccles, and now it's going to Diamond. So just imagine coming across this bridge and going on the other side. You have 12 lanes going into the city. It will make a big difference to people traveling. We now just went out to tender, and hopefully by next month we'd be able to award a contract to have a 4-lane from Crane going to where the new bridge will be, and that would be built. So you don't have to go through the traffic jam at Vredenhoop, and that will start later this year. So a lot of work has been done on infrastructure. Wales would see a gas to energy project that will generate thousands of new jobs, because we use the power plant there at Wales to not only cut electricity prices by 50%, a promise we made to by 2024 electricity prices, but will develop a whole industrial area. A few days ago, a major facility has been opened here. They won the bid from Exxon, a consortium of Guyanese, that at the mouth of the river, they're reclaiming a large piece of land going into the sea. And on that land, they would build a port that would hold all the containers. The containers can come there, and we can service the oil and gas industry from Guyana, keep bringing the jobs here rather than from Trinidad or from the US. All of the facilities would be built right here. So there are lots of plans for the region, hospital, a new hospital here. I'm not going to go through that today. You're going to hear more about these as we go along. So we've been busy working at a lot of things. This is just one region I'm telling you about, but we have a plan that we're rolling out across the country. Our biggest thing has been job creation. How do we create more jobs? A lot of people lost jobs in the APNU period. The sugar workers, 7,000 of them were sent home. In the mining sector, when they increased the tributers tax, the final tax, the miners, many of the miners stopped mining, and many people lost jobs in the mining sector. Then in the forestry sector, when they put the taxes on machinery and equipment, many people exited that sector too. So almost all the sectors were affected. And then we lost more jobs because of COVID. So we said we wanted to do 50,000 jobs. 50,000 jobs in the 5 years. But now we probably have to double that because of the number of people who are out of work and who lost jobs because of COVID. And that is why you've seen us now move across the country with a part-time job scheme that will see about 10 to 15,000 young Guyanese particularly working whilst they're studying. And we have launched it already in other regions. In Region 3 now, you're going to have about 2,000 to 3,000 persons here in this region who will work on that scheme. The applications are now out. It will close, the application process will close this weekend. So many of you who have not applied and who are interested, it's open to people from 18 to 55. So if you're interested, please apply, because in a few weeks' time, those people will be contracted and start working in this region too. The scholarship program, we said we'll make university education free in the 5 years. We plan to do that and do 20,000 scholarships. We've done 6,000 the first year, another 5,000 this year. But we have no upward limit now. We have removed the upward limit. So we can do 50,000, the government will pay for it. So all of those people here who are still interested in that, we've spoken extensively about it, please apply, make full use of the scholarship programs. On the job creation side, we recognize that government alone can't create jobs in government. The biggest and the most lucrative jobs are in the private sector. And already this is going to happen. If we work hard with the oil and gas resources, there's not a lot of money now. Many people behave as though we're wealthy. You listen to some people every day and they say, oh, we can stop working, but we got so much money. Well, it's not true. If we work hard, we do well in the future, extremely well, and if we have a clear focus. But we have to be careful. The process has to be carefully managed, and that is why we've made it clear. We're going to use oil and gas money in a manner that in the long run brings great benefits to our people. We don't want to become like a Venezuela, where they were producing 3 million barrels of oil per day, and today they don't have enough food. People have to flee the country. So two things happen in Venezuela. They lost democracy, and then bad policies lead to food. When countries have oil money, sometimes they splurge on everything. They buy up everything, spend it on the army, put up big buildings, do all sorts of things. When the money goes, have nothing to show for it. In the process though, they damage the other sectors of the economy through something called the Dutch disease. I'm not going to get into it's a complex concept. Like Trinidad and Tobago, when they produce oil and gas, the other sectors started to decline. And so the whole country comes to rely only on one sector. You've seen the major charge that we've made on agriculture because we believe in a diversified economy. The president himself is leading that charge. And so this is important. We said we want to spend oil and money on a few areas. One, on children, on the elderly, on people with disabilities. So you see a lot of focus on these areas now. On education, educating our people, that is why anyone who needs an online scholarship now can get one. On healthcare, because we believe it's important to have healthy people. And that is why you'd see a massive investment in healthcare. Not only would the hospital start here, a $30 million US hospital, but there'll be 5 others across the country. That will cost us $180 million. The Children and Maternal Hospital in Georgetown alone, a specialized hospital for women and children, would start. There's an Austrian contractor that would start before the end of the year to build that hospital that will be as good as any in the world for children and women. When they have complicated cases, we can address those there. So on health and education, on the vulnerable groups, on infrastructure for the future, and then saving some of the money. That's where oil money will go. It's not going to go into giving everybody, like the opposition couldn't afford to keep the $10,000 grant for the children. Say they couldn't afford that. 10,000 Guyana dollars per child, and they removed it, or the water subsidy for the pensioners. Now they're claiming we must give every Guyanese $1 million a year. So if I see a lot of smiles there, people are waiting to collect this money. A lot of people actually believe you can get this, and I don't blame them for believing it, but it's nonsense. If you take $1 million a year, which is about 5,000 US dollars, and you multiply by 800,000 of us, that's 4 billion US dollars per year. We now collecting 350 million, but we have to give out nearly 12 times more than what we collect. That is up-news economics, but it sounds good. It sounds good to people, and people say, anywhere I go, what about, you don't think this is a good suggestion to give us the money? So it is this sort of thinking that ran us in trouble in the past. When you spend money you don't have. And that is what happened in the early period, in the 70s and 80s. So by the 90s, we were one of the most heavily indebted countries in the world. And we lost almost a generation of development. I remember going into the Ministry of Finance, the first day the PPP got back into office. Even before Asgar went the Monday, I went there the Friday. And we didn't have enough money to even pay debts and wages and salaries. We had to borrow to pay debts and wages and salaries. Today, even before oil, we became one of the most dynamic countries in the region, the Western Hemisphere, and we have one of the lowest debt figures in the world today. One of the lowest in the world. Because we spent one generation, and I know how hard it was, because I was finance minister, president, and throughout the period, how hard it was when we had to make choices between paying back debts or building a road or a hospital or something like that. We don't want to put that burden on future generations any longer, so that they can have all that we earn to go towards development. And so this sort of philosophy is important. So job creation is important, and helping small business grow. Yesterday I met with some people from Sophia. We're helping them also. And I was saying that many of the people now who have big stores on Regent Street and everywhere else, in the early period, many of them were vendors on the street and in Starbuck Market. They started very small and they grew. And so this money that you're getting, the grant that you're going to get today here, it's not a lot of money. But this money is not to pay bills, because if you didn't get it, you still had to pay your bills. You still have to pay your bills. Keep this money separate from paying bills or buying something nice now for yourselves and the family. If you didn't get it, you couldn't have done that in any case. Try to use this money to make sure that you can grow it in whatever way. If it's a small business you want to start or you want to expand an existing business. We have seen how last year how this has helped many families. They got $250,000 and that was enough to build a pen, buy enough feed for 100 chicken and buy the chicks themselves. And they started with that, and now many of them have grown to even larger pens, etc. Now, not everyone can do chicken, so we don't expect that, but you can utilize these resources to assist and to do some small business. This is our investment in you. We are hoping that you would utilize it in that manner because we want people to grow. And if you do it well over time, you're going to grow into larger businesses. So this is one way. That is why I'm not going to keep you very long today. I hope that we'll keep working with you if you need additional help over the course of the years to come, especially at the technical side on the businesses. We'll be able to provide that. But today, I'm so pleased that you're all here. This is an opportunity to move forward, to assist yourselves, to assist your families, and to contribute to the community. Thank you very much.
The $150,000 you give it to fisherman. Fishmonger have anything to get out of that?
No, comrade. If you got a fisherman and then you get the people who sell the fish,
yeah,
and then you want the people who eat the fish go on next.
So,
right? It's the people who, the fishermen have been complaining to the president. The fishermen have been complaining to the president that they have had an issue with their livelihood. You hear me? Yeah. So it is for fishermen. Let me don't give a long explanation. It's for fishermen. Okay? That's it. It's for fishermen. Yeah.
Sir, the road from Nortonzell and Clanbrook area is very bad. That's a very deep hole.
All right. All right. So
let
let me just tell you that. So we're going out to tender now for a contract to build a 4-lane road from Unity all the way into Georgetown, so it would go back on to the Mahaika area, and then to upgrade the part from Newtonzell back into Unity, because that part was not done under the last contract. Okay, so I'm aware of it. I drive there, I see it all the time. We're going out, you're gonna see a tender shortly out for that, because the East Coast, between Region East Coast and this Region 3 and East Bank and Georgetown, 60% of our population live in these areas. That's why we have so much congestion in the road. 60% of the total Guyanese population. So I'm aware of it. Okay?
Thank you very much. Mr. President,
okay.
One question. We are so proud to have you here with us, finally. My question is that we are many migrants that came back from Venezuela. For instance, I lived there for 31 years. Okay. Due to the conditions that we passed, we had to come back.
Yeah.
So we are here recently, and we are looking for a house lot so that we can be able, because the cost for rent and the bills and electricity bills.
Let me make it clear. So
yes,
once you're Guyanese, even you come back now,
yeah,
just apply. You heard what I said. We have a backlog of about 14,000 in this region applications. We're looking to find the land so we can build the infrastructure that people can get this going. There'll be some houses that we build directly, and then we launch a new program where people who have homes, who have lots, but can't afford to start a house, we can start it for them, and then they will get a mortgage from the bank. So please follow up on these issues. Make sure that you and all the others who've come back, that they apply to, because we need to accommodate everyone, all of our people, whether they've come back recently or they're living here.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Vice President, Honorable Minister Indar, and Honorable Minister of Local Government, the Honorable Nigel Dharamlal. I'm from Wakenham. I'm also the chairman of the Wakenham NDC. And I've been plagued with questions for the past 5 years concerning the 13 km roads around the island. I know Minister Indar and Minister Nigel have been doing some work to the far end of Rich and Zealandia. But this is the circumference around the island where the main transportation service, the people mainly move around. It is in a very bad state.
So who has visited the island recently? Have you visited? So what are the plans? Hold on a minute.
So you're aware that we are building it kilometer by kilometer of Rich coming out as well as Zealandia, right?
Yeah, that is it. That is it too far end. This is the
Yes.
one that goes around the island that we use every day.
Yes, so there are failures in the road. We will look into those failures, but as you know, the main complaints when we were there, and when the president visited the island too, that the residents in Ridge and Zealandia were complaining, and we put the money into those because we cannot afford to build the entire stretch because we're building it kilometer by
Quite agree, but no maintenance has ever been done for the past 6 years.
Well,
And
all right. So
President
we
Irfan on his visit in February had ordered a review by the engineers, which we did the following day, and we
all
got
right.
the-
What was the review and to maintain?
The thing was done with the.
How much will it cost to maintain this road in Wakanam?
If you give us some crusher run, a $4 million a crusher run, we can do some quick fix.
Okay. Well, then let's do that immediately.
Right.
Okay.
The second
All right.
question, sir, I would like to thank you and the government of Guyana.
So let's form this up. How soon is he gonna get the crusher? During the week, yes.
And some tar.
Right, yes, they will get it because the maintenance, and eventually we have to pave the whole thing asphaltic concrete because the chip seal doesn't work anymore for the islands and for road building.
Yeah.
But we have so much, a big backlog, and the reason is that it's not, people think it's just 5 years or 7 years. It's almost 10 years. In the period when Donald Ramatar was president, you know the budget was cut. We didn't have the majority in Parliament. From 2012, we didn't have a majority in Parliament. And then the 5 years of APNU and the last 2 years of the PBP2, because of the pandemic, we couldn't go out as much as we wish. So you have a lot of backlog, and now with this incessant rain, we have a major problem. So we have a lot of work to do, but we assist in the short term.
Yeah.
Okay.
My second question, sir, deals with street lighting, electrical street lighting for the island. Since APNU, we have not gotten any lights. We have got some from Minister Nigel, which is solar, which is there working. That was the first in 2020. We haven't gotten any street lights. We've been requesting street lights for a number of years.
So where are we now? Because I haven't followed up on have they started putting I think it's about 700 kilowatt solar unit.
Hasn't started construction.
It hasn't
yet,
started construction
No, I
yet,
think
but that's
GPL
part of the plan. Did we go to tender and award? Find out from Sharma.
As far as I know, sir, as chairman, right?
Huh?
The contract has been awarded, but
The contract has been awarded.
But there's a problem with the site of the situation of the land. They are thinking of buying a better site just behind GPL. The NDC had given them a 16-acre reserve, but they failed to put in a bid that the sea defense had to be built.
Okay.
So that was a costly something of $150 million plus. So they're looking right now, discussion 3
Okay,
weeks back.
because I know that
Purchase.
we had a solar. We are putting in some solar units, some major solar farms in Wakanam and Legwan.
Yes, sir.
We're doing it in Linden, in Berbice, and Essequibo. So we are putting in major solar farms there too.
Thank you, sir.
So that will help the island a lot in terms of power stuff. So there's a sea defense thing. But we need to solve it quickly because this has been ages since we came into office. Yeah. Okay, all right. Don't rush with the lights yet. Let's get enough power into the island first so that people have good, reliable, cheap power. This is what we're trying with this big power plant here that will, the one we're building at Wales would supply twice as much as we are producing and supplying now the whole country with. That is GPL, except in Essequibo, that will have it will be a major, major power plant here in the region. So, yes, please.
Good afternoon. CDC, the Canton Bursary. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Dharma because he visited us last year, and the promises he would have made, he would have fulfilled those promises.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I would also like to inform him that the CDC have been working. We had 2 fundraising activities. We put some lights in our community. Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. I think we have a very, very active CDC in Bruce Lee Kendron, and we are really working to get the young people involved because there's like a lot of interest with the people, and we really want to get them on board. We have a very small playground, and we really would like for it to be tarmacked, right? The last time the NEC came, they would have cleaned the ground, but they placed the mud or all the stuff in the middle of the ground, so it's still there. And we cannot remove it, but...
So, all right, so who is the chairman if you throw the mud in the middle of the ground?
Sure.
So, but yet you can't do anything now until the rainy season is over.
Okay.
I think we have to wait. The rain is incessant.
I know.
So let's wait until that and they're great. I know Minister Ramsey has been visiting on grounds around the country and stuff, so we can get him also to pay a visit in these areas.
So one thing we would like, rather than just grading the ground, we would want the tarmac because it's small, right? And we'll be able to be maintained rather than having to come and slash it every year or to maintain it.
What you need, what?
Tarmac, a tarmac.
A tarmac
Yes.
to play, all right. So
Yes.
let's first of all make sure they restore the ground. We'll put that in the schedule and maybe we'll put in a tarmac at some point in time,
Thank you
okay?
very much.
How many people use this ground and where?
We would have Borisiri, the Kendron, and also persons from Zila could access the ground.
All right, so we'll look into it, all right? Okay. Okay. No, you've been trying to. Let's get front here. She's been waiting for a while. Back with the first person. Yeah, give her.
Good afternoon, everybody. Olivia David from Bakersville, CDC. I'm first starting off, I would like to say thank you very much on behalf of the government because Bakersville is one of the communities has been neglected for a very long time. And since Mr. it's our fourth visit to Bakersville, apart from that, Pandit as well has been there. And since then, we have so much things going on through our community. We just want to say thank you. There is so much more to be done, but we are grateful for what we are seeing so far. Thank you very much for this initiative.
You know, when I was in Canal, some people were protesting there. So I met the gentleman. I told him to come to my office. I stopped the vehicle and told him to come. What he was complaining about is that, you know, we're building some major infrastructure in Canal 1 and A-Line Dam. So that they wanted to take a piece of land that they had, that I think they have an infrastructure on it, and put the pump there. So I told him that the NDC, and we should get the NDC to see if we can't replace the land elsewhere that they take from the community, that playground or something like that, or the facility. So we can then make sure that we work with him. So I told him that we can, and I make a visit at some point in time in there, but talk to the chairman, because if we're putting in a big pump on the land where they have some building now, then we should help them to get a building elsewhere.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir.
And what's his name again?
Mrs. Scotland.
Scott, yeah, okay,
Yes,
all right.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. You know, it's a real honor to see you personally, and I want to congratulate you for being yourself, because I have said to more than one Guyanese is that our country needs Barak Jagdeo, because he's a very bright man, and today what you're doing is the evidence of my statement that it's true. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm a born Guyanese. I lived in the United States most of my life. I have been sent back here. And when I came here, I saw a lot of things that I would like to address you about them. You're doing a wonderful job with the children, the streets, helping people to get a land. I'm sure you agree that Guyana has so much land that each Guyanese should have one. Thank you for what you're doing over there. But when I got sent back from the United States, the second time I was sent back as a deportee. And I've seen many of my fellow Guyanese who were deported hanging around the streets, especially Georgetown, became beggars and resort to drugs to cope with their messy life. I haven't seen nothing any government in this country has done for people who've been sent back. Like myself, I had did a great number of time in prison, not for drugs or, but I did a great time in prison. So when I got sent out of prison, normally in America, they have something called a step-down program. I'm sure you've heard of that, where you come out of prison, but instead of the last year before you come straight to the street, you start getting used to going back to the street. I never had that. On top of that, our country have done almost nothing for those people who've been sent back. So I'm asking you very nicely, not what you would do, but if you can do something for us.
Let me tell you, when we were in opposition, there's a guy named Patrick. Up to yesterday I saw him with the Sophia engagement. He's one of our activists. He came back from the States to was sent back. And so he was meeting with, he used to meet with the guys who were deported. And he tried to arrange for them to meet with me. And they didn't want to. I don't know, they might be scared or what. So if you could, we don't want anybody who is sent back. One, if they serve their time in the US for whatever has happened, that they have a chance at a second life here.
Exactly, because
We want that to happen. Because even now we're building a prison with ropes and the others. And in the prison we're building at Lusignan, it's gonna be with a difference, because people are living in the pastures at Lusignan. And we said we must have compulsory classes for the people there, for first of all schooling and everything else. It would be a full-fledged program that when people come out of prison, that they have a skill that they can go back to. They don't have to go back to crime.
Well, almost every country does.
So we unfortunately, we don't have enough of that, because in Guyana, so now we're trying to build a full-fledged school and everything in the new prisons, because, so we have to treat this differently, not just locking people up.
No, I'm talking about the people who got sent back.
Yes, no, I'm telling you about what we're doing otherwise. So for people who are sent back to, I understand that you're talking about that, but I'm telling you, it's a new approach on dealing with people who are here. So if you could arrange, or the other guys could arrange for us to meet with them, we want to help people to be able to, when they come back, that they can seamlessly get back into society, right? I don't know how that has happened, because many of them are very cagey about government, suspicious about government.
The world is like that.
Right, you know, so we will engage them. I will engage them. If you are maybe now that we're in government, maybe we can make another pass at it to see if we can engage people and then see how we can assist them when they come back here to find a job or to do something else to get integrated. On the land issue, often it's a fallacy that we have so much land. We have a lot of land, but 86% of the country is covered with forests, not on the coast. Because on the coast, we don't have that much land. As I was saying, if you look from, say, I-flood going back that way, it's all like mainly private lands, right? Then some is in sugar, and some would be in rice. And then we have a small bit more public lands, maybe in the Wales area, which came out of sugar. So take Region 3, for example, not a lot of land. In Region 4, the same thing is happening. On the East Bank, if you go, almost all the lands are gone. On the East Coast, some is still there because of the closure of the Enmore estate, which we're putting into housing now. If you go in each region, where we have a lot of land is in the hinterland, but nobody will go to live there. So that is why it is difficult. So we're trying to steer development up the highway by building new roads going up the highway so people can get
a place for people, a way for people to commute.
Yes, commute, so they can commute.
All right. One tiny favor I want to ask you. Would it be too much to ask for you to, what we call in America, holler, means talk to that person, the people in Lamaha Street, Human Service? I mean, when I go there, I see a waste of money. Another thing I want my fellow guys...
How is it a waste? Tell me.
I went there for help. I've been in this country for a while.
Okay.
And today I am homeless. Everything you see I have is what I own. Some of these people give me food to eat and money to buy stuff that I probably might need, and some give me clothes. And that should never be.
All right.
You know? I went there and I went to where the other place in Big Market next to the fire station.
Yeah,
and there was very, very little help there. So I was wondering, you're a man of authority.
All right, but give us your name and number. Who is? Look at the back. Just indicated your hand. Right. Just.
Those are taking. Let them finish it.
Taking the notes. Where are they taking the notes? Yeah, but you can't be in the center. They have to come on this side here. Right. Yeah. Right. Those who are taking notes. Yeah. Make sure that you give your name and number there. You have a number?
No,
yeah, but you can.
Number.
Then we'll call you and find out.
I don't have a phone.
Oh, you don't have a phone. Give us a way of how we can get in touch with you.
I will. They're going to take that down. I got two more things to say.
Okay, all right.
One, there are a lot of people say bad things about our Guyanese police officers. Mm-hmm. And I haven't seen none of it that is true. I think our Guyanese police officers are very good people and they do their job. But on the other hand, I think they need radios like the foreign police, where they can communicate and has their work done more efficient and faster. And they probably need a little bit more cars or stuff like that. And the other one is that there are many people saying things you probably might have heard that they say bad things about yourself. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen none of that. Yeah. But as you are my president, and I respect that. But I want to talk to you a little bit like two people. Okay. Mr. President, people say you steal money. Mm-hmm. I'm not asking if you did or you did not. I'm saying if you did, it's okay. Just keep whatever you
It's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay.
Can I finish statement, please? Let me finish statement.
Yeah.
Well, whatever have done in the past, I think me and our fellow Chinese should let bygones be bygones and move forward. But what I'm saying is that if it would be nice enough that, like what you're doing right now, I'm sure you already have enough. You have enough to eat, to wear, to live for another 3 more lifetimes. I would appreciate, and I know you're probably doing, I would appreciate if you could spend the same effort that you're telling us, and maybe just a little bit more to help the Chinese spend that oil money properly. And the people who believe they're gonna get $1 million, nobody never do that. Not even your least. What is wrong with these people? Again, Mr. President, thank you for coming out here. Thank you for all that you're doing, and thank you for listening to me.
Okay.
Thank you for your.
No problem. No problem. So that is why I had to spend some time talking about oil money, because a lot of people believe that we're awash with oil money, and it's not okay if people steal. It's not okay. Yes, who else?
Good afternoon, Honorable Vice President, and to all other protocols to the table.
Okay, sure.
I'm here, and I actually want to represent the Parfait Harmony area, especially the roadways. Comrade, there are some roads there that really need attention as it is, and it's getting worse. Find out that the buses and the vehicles, they're not taking their passengers to the end where they're supposed to be. They're putting you off halfway, and that can be very serious.
Yes, so all the roads like in the region, and Minister Indar is assigned to this region. He is in the Ministry of Public Works with One Edge Hill. Okay, so they should be brought to his attention. I know we have a major plan for the entire region. We have to wait until the rainy season is through. But, and we can't fix all of it because almost every road, not just Parfait Harmony, wherever we have gone, we've had this. But we will make a note of it, and Indar and the others should also visit. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Because we have to do all the areas. Parfait Harmony, Zealot has some, Two Chain, everywhere. Okay?
Especially when they come to the Independence Road, that road that is leading westward. That road really, really need to be looked at.
Yeah, sure.
Also, the bushes on the parapet, that's dangerous.
Okay.
Right. Thank you, sir.
All right then. Yes.
Hi, good afternoon, Vice President. My name is Serena Grandison. I'm currently a law student at the University of Ghana.
Okay.
I want to start by saying I appreciate the amount of scholarships that have been offered for the last few years, even the online ones. But in relation to the law program, there has not been, that I am aware of, even the new batches of scholarships that you've released. There's engineering, there's medical, there's chemistry, but there's nothing to support the law students. And I'm sure you're aware, not only do we have to go through University of Ghana, but then we also have to go to whether Trinidad or the UK, whatever we do afterwards. So that's one of the issues. I'm not sure if there's anything.
Yeah, let me tell you, there's a reason behind it too. Because when we look at the legal profession, we saw that you have a lot of lawyers there. You know that, right?
Yes, I understand.
And they are on their own. Many of them can't even like get cases. And they come to us all the time. But where we had scarcities were like people studying maths, medicine, engineering, other areas. So that is why our scholarship program is geared towards supporting people in those areas, because the country has a scarcity in those areas. So it's not because we hate lawyers, but because you had an abundance of lawyers already.
That's fair, but you're restricting the the program to just lawyers. You do understand that law, you can go into politics with law.
Yeah, yes.
You can work with the ministries with law,
Yes.
but then you're not.
But that would be, but studying law, but that is the reasoning. Maybe it's a little unfair to those who are now aspiring to be lawyers, but the thinking was help the agronomists and the agriculture people and those who are studying engineering and medicine and those, because we badly need those skills. So I don't know, maybe it would evolve in the future. But I can't promise you that. I can't promise you that. And we maybe ultimately, with how our country is going, you may have a law school right here in the country.
Yeah, because one of the things I used to work before going into law. I'm a second-year student at the moment, and the law is a full-time program, so it doesn't have avenues to work. But what I did is I had applied at the Small Business Bureau for a cash grant to start poultry, and I'm also a small contractor, which is the second thing I would like to address with you today. So for a lot of the ministries, I can vouch for the Ministry of Public Works. I can say with certainty, there's a very good program they have in place regarding like pre-qualifications and actually getting into the ministry.
Yeah, well, that's a policy of Air Finale in the government, right? So that we push Public Works to get that done so we can incubate small contractors.
That has been done.
Right.
But for the other ministries, it's with great difficulty that you actually even get. I mean, I tender, at the end of the day, you can only tender so much because then it goes. And then there's nothing to say, okay, well, there's a ministry that you can go for them to show you that you need a business registration, you need NIs. If you don't have somebody that's already in the small business, the contracting area, it's like you're out there by yourself because there's no.
I agree. So we have to do. Yesterday, I spoke with people from Sophia in Berbice too. We face the same issue wherever we go. Linden, where we get the cash grant. We have to now. If you get the resources, like you get the cash grant, we also have to help people to make the process simple. And yesterday, someone asked me, would they get the cash grant because they're told that if their business is not registered, they wouldn't get the money that you're getting there today. And I said, no, that's not so. You'll get it. If you go through Onesia's ministry, Minister Waldron, you have to go through like a formal business thing. So that's separate. This grant is a separate one. But we have to work with people. So maybe a couple of seminars and training sessions organized by the minister. I'm going to talk to Minister Waldron because that's her responsibility. And then to train people how to put in here. I think you have to turn off and yours is off. Okay, all right. So we will definitely do that. You're absolutely right that we have to work with people to train them how to grow and how to fulfill like basic requirements, because we have simplified the requirements for small business. Like below $5 million at Public Works now, it's so simple. We push them to do that, all right? And then the other ministries, we may have to do the same thing. But so that's good that you're into entrepreneurship and all of that, and helping people to learn more would be good. I think we gotta get on edge and do it in each region. So region 3, we have one training session for people who live in region 3, one for Georgetown, region 4, region 6, everywhere. Right? You get it done. Okay then.
Last.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
This one is a bit personal, so it's not like generalized.
If you want me to follow up, give you a name and number.
No problem. So it's how I pay FUG is through the same small contracting and so on, and I contract at the Ministry of Education. But there was a pre-qualification process that recently took place. I did pre-qualify for both because, like I mentioned, that's how I sustain FUG payments and so on. So I noticed that my name was not on the list of pre-qualified individuals, and after I inquired, because, well, most naturally I have interest, so I inquired, I was disqualified on the basis of a tin certificate that was not added to the document. I understand that it's maybe somewhat a legal perspective, but I'm insisting that I submit it with the tin certificates and so on. But they're saying,
All right, we'll have a review done. We'll have a review done.
yeah, I asked for the review to
Okay.
be done, but
Okay.
they said that they couldn't find the tin.
All right then. Okay, we'll get the review done, and Dara is going to follow up. Okay then, thanks. Okay.
Honorable Vice President, with great effort I must say, welcome to our community.
All right, thank you very much.
And I like how you compose the Minister of, let's say, Commons, roads,
Yeah.
which is my problem right now, and Minister of Local Government, which is also
Yes, sure.
both interconnected. Yes, sir, when I live at I reside in Cornelia Island, New Orleans, Block 10. And we have a problem there, serious problem with our streets. They're all,
Yeah.
very, very disturbing to get
Right.
in and out, right? And
So
I was asking questions around, but there's no thought of a definite answer whether these roads will be done.
okay, so they did the assessment. That's what he told me. So we're waiting a little bit on the rainy season. There are lots of work that will be tendered shortly. I know that main access, we're going to focus on main access now because we can't do everything in one area because there are lots of areas. You have Parfait, Harmony, Sealot, Tushin, etc. Have to spend resources around.
83,000 square miles.
But you don't need to wait when I come at these meetings. You know the president directly. I mean, you should call us and let us put some pressure on Indira and the others, these ministers.
No,
to make sure we fix
those
everything.
guys, they have the hands filled.
Oh, okay, so you're right. Thank you very much. But you don't need to, you can contact us directly. Yeah.
Like you said, it's all 10 regions and have to do.
Okay, all right.
So I understand all of that.
Yes.
But being a council
Yes.
of the area, people look for us.
I can fix one road. If you look at all the taxes in the area, it runs, to fix a road properly, it would run into millions of dollars. They don't collect. So they blame the comrades.
Yeah.
So we need to talk to people, and once you talk to them and they understand that, they're a bit more appreciative. But we'll look into your issues, right, to make sure that talk to him and focus on this. Yeah. Right, for their roads. Because, and you don't need to wait until I come here. You get in touch with me anytime, right?
Yeah.
You know that.
There's one other issue. There's a footpath bridge, right? That I will be putting over for quite some time now. A footpath.
A footpath, okay.
5 feet by about 5 feet or so. And it is in a very, very bad state.
Oh, you look into the
Right.
footpath. So Indar is going to look at this thing. All right, so make sure that you work with them to get a footpath done. Okay? We're going to, all right, Indar is going to get in touch with the two of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yeah, well, I must tell you that I'm happy to see you here.
Yes, and I'm pleased to see you too.
Yes,
Sometimes I get
I'm always around.